shit, I forgot. Voicemail. I'm done. Shit. Gotta do it. Blob.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Heroes Core, Season 1, Episode 6, Fading Light, Part 1. Joining me today are two cast members, who I'll introduce in just a moment. And welcome to Heroes Core and the Worlds of Adventure, starting shortly.
Ugh. I died and I could not recover.
Yeah. I've actually done that one time. Called it dead.
Just, boys, I'm dead. I can't play.
Can't come in today on a bad case of death.
And then eventually you come back and say I got over it.
Alright. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Heroes Core. I believe the park's going to be opening early today. Hope everyone brought their tickets. And let's bring in our cast and have them introduce themselves. Right. Just a moment. Hello everyone, how are you? I am PAK USA, aka RT Studios, your production engineer for today's game. Joining me today is the person below me. Go ahead. It's Baxter. Hold on. Stop. I forgot to import. sorry guys, we have like a lot of new equipment that we just got today, and I have to again add all that equipment into the stream. So apologize for all the technical difficulties that we were having, but go ahead now.
Okay. I see what's going on, but anyways, okay. Hello, I'm Baxter. I haven't done this voice in a while. Jesus. But hello.
Last week.
I know, but I need to do it more often. But anyways, it's me, Baxter, controlled by Gearbox. Hello. Gosh, I feel drained. But anyways, having a delightful something. Let's just move it to the flying one. Let's get this over with.
It's my turn now.
Yes.
Okay. Well, first off, this is kind of ironic. The actual, the OG park employees are here, and it's just us.
Loyal employees that literally lived here.
Pretty much. Hi, I'm Katie Wynn. I play Queen Bee, and well, sad fairy is sad.
Very depression.
All right. Well, is that not anything else we're gonna do? We'll be right back after the opening intro. Stay tuned, folks.
Yep.
Okay, we mic'd. Well, muted. I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Everybody, let's go. It's time to put on a show. Keep your hands and arms and legs inside the ride. Can you feel their energy? It's time to take flight. Like a super-powered lightning strike across the sky. Heroes core, can you hear the roar? It's the ride of your life. Shine bright, destiny is in sight. It's the hope in our eyes. We're ready to fight, we're ready to go, yeah. Megaton has the power at the worlds of adventure. This park we will defend, yeah, Heroes Core.
Keep trying to get her not to get on the couch, but hard to train a cat. She was the last time she was sitting on top of the Megaton Tower crying her eyes out. I rolled a 7. So 12. No, I rolled 12 total.
Okay. What are you doing?
She wipes her eyes and raises an eyebrow, and then just kind of, yep, where she just takes her hands and like launches herself off the tower to do like a free fall until she gets to him, and then her wings kick in a hover, She's like, so, what you doing? Yeah. Considering I probably obliterated him. Right, well, first we're gonna get you off this tower, she says as she goes to reach out to like pick him up to land him. He sighs and then just stops flapping her wings and goes into a free fall until right before the ground.
Yo! Chilbo kind of like comes over doing a little bit of a kickflip up on a skateboard and going, well, this is a hot afternoon. You need a drink, bros?
Ah, she she thinks for a moment. No, thanks. Appreciate it. I don't think you serve what I need at the moment.
Well, okay then, bro. Stay frosty. As he just like rail grinds away.
The least he could have done was give him a motorized skateboard. Jeez.
Oh wow, yeah.
Anyway, he shrugs.
Right. Well,
You had something?
yeah. You don't mind if I just take you right there, do you? Or do you just want to walk?
Oh. She thinks about it for a moment and then puts her hand out like, you know,
He takes
do
it,
it.
and he grabs hold, and you guys are blipped back into his lab. And on the
She
monitor,
shudders a bit
Yeah.
because she does not like that.
I
Yeah.
like the idea that the suit that was made for a bee that Baxter made is still sitting on the bed.
and Trish's character is just curled up like a cat, sleeping on the sofa again. All the hair all over the place.
Oh, God.
And TV is running, but there's just like a soap opera or something on. And Harper walks into his lab and he says, "Yeah, pulls up a video file." And that scene that you saw, first person, first hand, where you see the smoke and all that, like after you've, like, you punched your would-be father into what you assume would be oblivion. He pushes a button and the camera switches to a different camera angle behind the smoke, and you see father just kind of phase out of existence, just kind of fade right before you hit him.
Suppose that's a bit of good news.
Says, "I suspected he had more than he was willing to reveal, but that explains the fact that he shares similar abilities with me, I believe. I've sensed his presence nearby, but it's distant, very
He
faint."
thinks about that for a moment because right now her brain is a spinning because she's now thinking, wait, if they got similar powers, she'll say, if you have access to a satellite, look for a concentration of solar energy. she
He
says.
looks over and just taps a couple buttons and says,
Because
give me a
her twin
moment.
sister would
Yep.
probably have similar abilities to her.
Looking through the piece and pulls up the satellite, and all you hear is, and just
You can self-censor. That's amazing.
Yep.
She'll say.
it just says it here's that executioner has
Huh?
executioner's gone and done it again.
Oh no.
Jeez.
I can't control this program. It's a mind of its own. Well, unfortunately, I can't access that satellite, and pretty much the entire military-grade satellite network is locked out for me. But give me just a moment.
She raises an eyebrow. Why would it be? She points back to one of the other rooms. We have technically the highest power in this country in the next room.
Yes. You're snoring off in the in the room next door. He is a very loud sleeper. Harper says.
Cool.
President.
Nice, the president.
And he says, I don't really want to wake him up for this, but have you seen Baxter, by the way?
No?
Interesting.
Kind of been to myself the last couple hours.
I understand. Says, wonder what Baxter's up to. Now we cut to Baxter.
Whee! To the bottom.
Yep.
Zoom on over to underground.
Mhm.
And there's Baxter. And he's working on a new something. Well, a bunch of something.
Yep.
And he's occasionally twitching as he's doing so. One of his robots walking. How's it going? It's fine. What are you working on? Oh, me? It's just a little project. Yeah, project. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's gonna be a good one. Says while screwing something together. And then a weirdly skeletal arm slightly raises itself, and he grabs a little flower, puts it in the skeleton thing's hand, it clasps it, and the flower rots. Beautiful. Well, it looks like a lot of these showstoppers are looking well. He kind of like grips his head a little bit. And then the robot leaves, leaving him to his devices.
And one of the lights on your panel blinks. It is from Harper.
He looks at it.
Hey, Bax, how's it going?
This is like a phone call.
Yeah.
He walks away from who's doing it. How is it going for me? Oh, I'm just fine. How was
Roll me a deception check.
I can't do that. I have food on my desk. I can't even roll. Let me go get my tablet
You're good.
because it has a
Virtual roll
rolling
if you'd like.
program for me. Yeah, virtual. I always use virtual rolls for Baxter usually.
Good.
Fuck, I'm forgetting so much. I'm not remembering anything. I'm also really hungry and there's food in front of me. Let me shove a piece of bacon in my mouth. Oh.
All right. So,
Okay, I found his deception roll. Okay, let me go ahead and roll.
right. While you're doing that, you hear a like kind of like a stretching meow, the sound, and Fang wakes up, looks at the TV, and says, "Wow, they're just still broadcasting that event from the a couple days ago."
Mhm.
Yep. Go ahead.
I rolled a 4.
Harper
course they are.
Harper glares at the screen. Obviously, it's just an audio call, and he looks to you, Queen, and says, "It's the mute button on the mic," and says, "I don't think he's doing well."
She
Yeah, jeez.
she looks up from the TV and goes, "Well, I'm fairly sure he wasn't well to begin with, but that's unfortunate." Uh,
Well, I mean, you don't have anything else better to do today, and like, I mean, yes, the president's with us; he's safe. I mean, do you want to go into the parks, just kind of hang?
I mean, we
You know-
can. I have to stop by my place.
We're just gonna leave Baxter on mute.
Yeah. So, he said he unmutes Baxter and says, "Hey, Bax, are all the rides running today?"
Are all the rides? It's functional? Let me check. Yeah, they are.
All right. Well, we'll be in the parks today, having some fun. And we'll see you later. And he hangs up on you.
Them enjoying the fun, appraisal, all that stuff. How unfortunate for me.
All right.
No matter.
I'm gonna message you. Keep going. Keep going.
He's just walking over to his little projects. Well, at least these things will definitely, well, prove our message. Says while caressing one of them.
All right.
Well, these things are probably as good as they can be, as he plugs these different, some canisters into each one of them. They're not even gonna know what hit them. Either way, he says, we're getting into his little vehicle. Well, now the song starts. Do it now.
Yep.
Hit the button.
You
The
want-
big, pretty button. I know it's big. Be quiet, man.
You're alone, no one's home. Why does it have to be me? Spiraling insanity. What can I do to save you? Isn't it too late for you? There they go again, off to save another friend or foe. You can't decide, I'll show them what it means to be dead inside. This heart is mine, and mine alone. You can see I'm sitting on my throne. Darkness descends now. It is time. Let me show you my true side. Now you're in for a ride. So strap happened, Tide? You're about to die.
It's a little song. Anyways,
Well, that's a thing.
well, that's a thing.
Yep.
We rushed that in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yep. And we cut back to Harper and Queen walking well, not actually walking because Margaret's still occupied by other guests, obviously. So Harper is gonna try his best to basically turn back to normal, but he can't because reasons. So he just goes in his suit. But Queen, you
Yeah, if you allow, she will take and walk into the sunlight and
yep.
flex her wings and bend the light around them, making them disappear.
Yep. There's kind of like a glistening kind of like glitter kind of effect, and they just vanish. As
Yep.
you come down the bellhop walks up and says, "Sir, I have your tickets for you. They are the VIP experience, courtesy of my employer." He says, kind of like a grimace.
She she nods. Thank you. And I guess she is changed into like summer clothes out of her
Yep.
dress. You know,
Yeah.
shorts and everything.
Yep. So we get to the how do we want to get on the parks? Do we want to just walk to the parks? Do we want to take the bus or do we want to take the monorail? We're saying. Or I could just blip us to the front gates. I mean, whichever you want.
You could, but that may cause a panic.
True. Let's take the monorail.
She nods.
And he goes to walking to the monorail ramp. There's a line going all the way around the monorail ramp. Get in. And it says the wait time's about 20 minutes.
Yep. Je-
Yeah.
Jess will smirk a bit and say, however, this might be a little bit less conspicuous. And she will proceed to charm her way through the line with Harper.
All right, roll me. Is that like a
Charm person. Just
automatic? Okay.
on it's charm person on a massive scale.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm just gonna have you roll a flat d20, and you need to be a DC 14. So you haven't done this at this scale before, so it's gonna be a little bit of a challenge, but I'm not making it super hard.
Exactly 14.
Nice. So you come up to the front of the line, and the attendant says, "Tickets, please."
Yep, here you go. She'll hand the ticket.
Thank you.
She'll smile and
And
go with Harper on there.
she scans them, and she says that they are your VIP and escorts you to the front of the train car monorail, and you get in. Hello. Oh, hold on. Hello and welcome to Worlds of Adventure. If you're just joining us, please take your seats and allow other passengers to board the train. We'll be departing for our first stop in the parks, Shadow City and Adventure Isles, our
While
water-themed attractions.
I will say, while the voice is going,
Mhm.
Queen Bee is mouthing all of the words because she's heard this so many times.
And Harper's like, at least Baxter managed to update the audio on the monorails. I mean, better than it used to be.
It's clear, that's for sure. At least you can hear it.
Yep. And here. Doors closing. Please hold on. We are departing for your next adventure. And the doors go. Monorail starts moving.
Yeah, she'll turn to Harper and say, "It's funny, you don't you think that this park's gonna be kind of anticlimactic after all the shit we've done?"
I mean, people are still visiting the park, and like, no one is the worse for it. I mean, after that news reel that I'm sure almost half the entire park is seen by now, I'm not surprised that we haven't been recognized as like being the focal point of this particular park. But it did. I mean, for Baxter, it brought in a lot more guests.
Yeah, well, I suppose.
And then there's another ride announcement. Get ready to soar to new heights in our brand new drop ride attraction, Megaton Tower. Available now for all riders.
Hey B, can
Yeah.
you roll me a perception? Actually, both of you roll me a perception.
Exception. Okay. Pull that up.
24.
Well, you see it. You'll see you see what's going on.
Rolled a 19 and modifiers 5, yo.
Yo!
21.
You both see it. You are both chilling until you look out the window and see something. You both see something different, mostly though. Yeah. B, you see a large, well, kind of large, floating, cloaked figure, just kind of in the distance, slightly closing in. And Harper, you look and see a large robot of some type that you don't recognize walking towards the tracks, pretty far ahead of the train.
And Harper's like, B, pointing out the window.
Yeah,
Did
I see
Baxter
him too.
mention any new animatronics that he was installing today?
Nope.
And then over the PA.
Oh, my turn.
No. Ladies and
What's it?
gentlemen, we'll be arriving shortly at Shadow City. Please make sure you have your tickets ready for adventure. And also,
I'm
please keep an eye on your young heroes. We'll be arriving
I'm a
shortly.
I'm assuming that it doesn't look like the detective.
Yeah, the cloaked figure does not look like the today. You don't recognize either of these two machines that have appeared. You can't even tell if the cloaked figure is a machine. But as the train closes in, you see the robot, the big one, on the ground, lift its hands towards like a power box, and all of a sudden the box explodes, and you see electricity go towards its hands as it sucks energy, and all of a sudden the train starts flickering the lights, and it starts slowing down.
Oh, well, that's not good.
Your attention, please. Your attention, please. We have encountered a sudden situation. Remain calm. Help is on the way.
She'll look
And
at
then it
Harper
repeats in
and say,
Spanish.
"Well, I guess that's our cue." And she'll tap the necklace she's been wearing twice because she
Yep.
did put on Baxter's suit,
Yep.
but it was hidden.
Yep.
And she'll flutter, causing the light to dissipate from her wings in front of everybody. She doesn't care at this point.
Yep. There's some gasps and like people start whipping out their phones, obviously. Start taking pictures, and then one of these little girls walks up to you and says, "You're pretty. Can I get your autograph?" She holds out like
Uh,
this tiny little book.
she very quickly signs it. You know,
She
you
goes
know
up to
the.
you and hugs your leg because you're taller than
Mhm.
her. She says, "Someday I want to be just like you. What's your And she says, "I want to be just like you," and like just
Yeah,
dances off and back to her mother, and her mother's like, "I don't know, sit down. Well, they're here to help." And
yeah.
um
Jess will look back at everybody and say, "Right, I'm gonna need you to stay away from the doors for just a bit. We'll have this handled." She looks at Harper and then goes to open the door, bolting towards the.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the door pulled the emergency release.
Yep.
Yeah, and you just hear emergency access has been authorized. Passengers, please exit the train on the left side of the terminal. If you are above ground, and Harper just like punches the speaker and just like shut the thing up because it's so obnoxious at this point.
Yeah.
And yep, you guys are on the side of like the track, just about like maybe a quarter away from the station, maybe a quarter mile. It's elevated track.
Yeah. She is. She'll she'll say as she's flying because she's actually headed for the
Yep.
electric one.
Yep.
She'll say, "I'll try and figure out a way to bring Spooky down. Deal with him, please."
Sure.
And she'll throw a ice knife at it.
Yep. Roll the hit.
Damn, a 10 probably doesn't hit,
Yeah.
but it got its attention.
You throw ice knife, and as the big one doesn't flinch at all of a sudden you see a smaller robot on top of the big one come out of nowhere and literally use a electric whip to whip it aside.
Well, that's unfortunate. Looks like you're gonna have to bring it down, she says as she gets to the lightning one.
Yep. He says on it, he's going to blip within just out of range of the whip. And he says, "Alright." Cracking his knuckles. I saw this in the show, and this does like the energy ball of electricity kind of thing behind his back, and then
The
you know,
little one sees you blip, and it kind of like stomps its foot on the big one, and the big one quickly like just kind of looks around and then sees you, and then it hits its two hands together and cracks its knuckles.
yep. I'm
Has two large power poles on its back, and you could see like these like arcing electricity between it.
I have to roll the hit. Hold on. 17 hit.
What kind of attack are you using on it?
Basically, well, Harper wouldn't know this, but he's using Electro Ball.
Ah. So you basically throw an electricity attack at it.
Yes.
As you do, you see it hit it, but the
Yep.
electricity arcs around its body and then up to its electric poles.
And
And the
Harper
electric poles just
says,
arc more electricity.
Harper just says, "God."
And, hey B, you're just flying there, right? Queen B,
Yes.
you're just, as you're flying there, Mr. Cloaked Figure has gotten closer, and it looks at you, and it outraises out of its cloak a skeletal hand. As
Yep.
its cloak suddenly parts a little bit, and is it just you, or is the air getting harder to breathe, and you're losing altitude?
Oh, okay.
The air is getting thinner around you.
She kind of smirks at that. And then she stops breathing.
Well, it's still hard to fly in
No,
what
that's
would be,
fair.
you know, thin
No.
air.
Yeah.
But at least you're not suffocating.
Yeah, photosynthesis is a great thing.
It cocks its head as it raises its second hand. You
Yeah.
do see that there's a black smog coming from its cloak and going upwards.
Yep. And in that moment, she slams her fists or her hands together and casts Thunderwave. You have to make a con save.
Okay.
DC 13.
What is your con, by the way? Your con.
My con?
Yeah.
15.
Hmm. I wish I could see your character sheet because I kind of needed to see it now. Yes. Where would your character sheet be? Fuck.
Give me a sec.
Embarrassing. Not here.
There you go.
Think. Think greatly. Oh, come on. Someone turned off my fan.
But,
Give me a second. Someone turned off my fan.
well, either way, you're either taking 11 thunder damage or half of that. So,
Let's. Ugh. Well, it doesn't roll anything high to survive it. Well, to half it, so no. Bad roll. My dice.
alright,
isn't-
well then it's gonna get rocked by a gigantic wave of thunder force.
As you hit it, you see it fly back a little bit as pretty much goes up against the ground, and all of a sudden it pulls out a scythe and uses the scythe to keep itself from being flung any further.
And her bonus action is she marks it and says, alright, Spooky, I guess it's my turn. And she'll use Hunter's Mark.
Right, now it's their attack.
Who's attack?
The bad guys.
Oh yeah, the bad guys. Spooky's gonna go first. Mr. Spook's here. And it looks up at you. You know, as it floats back up to your height. Well, you're pretty much falling to the ground, really. Well, slowly. As it raises its hands into the air, and that black fog starts swirling in the air, and it floats above you pretty much, and it blocks out the sun, at least shining directly on you.
Yep, that might cause a little bit of problems.
And you hear it kind of let out a raspy laugh of some sort. Oh boy.
Is that its
point.
turn?
Now it's Big Boy's turn. Well,
Right,
there's technically
right.
two of them.
Yep.
But it looks at Blip, but pretty much like the big one goes for pretty much a large hit on Blip. Blip, it's gonna attempt to hit you, punch you in the face.
Yep. I'm gonna roll as a reaction, my dodge. You know what? You need to beat a DC. Oh, just roll. I'll see if you can beat AC.
I rolled
What'd you get?
20.
You hit.
Oh boy.
How much damage?
Let me determine that. 9 damage.
9 damage. Harper shrugs a little bit of that damage off, but see like the crackling of electricity across his eyes. He is mad.
Then the smaller one preps its attack.
Yep.
It hooks its whip to its bigger friend, and then goes for practically a kick. Equivalent of a kick. Okay, I rolled again.
Yep. Which
That would be a 24.
that hits.
Now I roll high.
Yep.
Luckily for you, this is going to do a little less damage, hopefully.
Yep.
That would be 2 damage.
Yep. Harper's he's okay, but yeah. Harper's going to basically overcome. So he's gonna call out to and say, seems that our friend, emphasis on friend, has brought out the welcoming wagon.
Well, you don't know who sent these. They don't have any markings or anything that would point
Well,
to.
he's thinking back. Peter.
Oh yeah, fair. You're thinking about Peter.
Yeah. He says, we're gonna need a little bit of backup. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's gonna be coming in time. He says we're gonna have to hold these things off, whatever they are, whoever made them. And then he sees the looming shadow over you and says, "Hey, watch out!" That's it. This is gonna move away from the target. Just attacked him.
Yeah.
Action. That's it.
Feeling herself get weaker, she's like, all right, you want to play it that way? That's fine. And she'll, the gun that she's had, she'll pull out and just start, and
Roll a hit.
let's see. I gotta see what Hunter's Mark does too. Oh, excellent. Well, if I hit, this might hurt. Uh, 25.
25 hits. You're rolling pretty well.
Yeah, luckily.
Luckily.
Because I saw it teetering on the, like, oh, it was not good. Alright, okay, the first is with the Colossus Slayer and piercing, the piercing damage, it is 7 and then a d6.
Okay.
We get 8 damage.
Damn. You hit the thing, and you do see, like, you hit an arm, and you see, like, at least within the cloak, you see the arm kind of go. Like, it's slightly, really does look like it's flying in the air, and getting hit does cause it to get pushed around a little bit, but it quickly recenters itself. And looks at its arm that you shot, and you can see the little bullet hole, and it just looks at you. You can't even really see its face well, but, like, it looks upset.
Yeah, she'll hit her earpiece and say, "Don't hit them with your powers, hit them with something hard."
Says knowledge. And he's gonna flip back to the train. And he says he rips off one of the doors and says, "Everyone out." As people start piling out of the train at the station. And a moment later, you just see him reach underneath the carriage, decouple it, and he's gonna have to roll a strength check for this. Strength is 16. He lifts the train, but he's struggling. Like, all his energy is just being put into trying to lift this train above the tracks. And yeah, that's his turn because it's a time move action to do that.
Lift that.
Yep.
The bad guy's turn again. Yeah.
Yep. And now Harper is basically hoisting a monorail car above his head.
Yay. Mr. Spooks, now after rearing back from that damage, it grabs onto its scythe, and all of a sudden it just races towards you with a wild swing.
Fair enough.
See how that goes. That was a 20 fair.
It is.
It slices like your arm, like one of your arms holding the gun, and it stings. It hurts like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at your like arm, and you see that the wound it made is quickly turning gray and black.
much damage did you take?
Let me look. Let me roll
I'm
this
pretty sure
di-
you know what type of damage that is.
Yeah.
Yep,
That would be 7. Would it be necrotic?
it would be necrotic damage.
Yeah, 7 necrotic damage for you.
Okay.
And losing health now. Oh god. Like rapidly. Oh god. But anyways, yeah, that hurts really bad, and it once again lets out like a raspy laugh of some sort.
And
And now it's time for big boy and small boy.
but
Could throw the. I'm not sure, because I'm waiting for that train to be thrown. But they both look. Huh?
sorry, I can only throw that thing on my turn.
Yeah. They look at you, and the big one like once again is like pretty much doing a come at me.
Yep.
While the small one like looks at the train, looks at this one, and goes just looking back for like, "Are you serious?" And it quickly, you look at it, and all of a sudden you blink, it's gone. And the next thing you know, you feel electric. You feel an electric whip wrapping around your leg.
Yep.
I would give you a chance to react, but I don't think you can react while
I
holding a
can't
train.
react. Yeah, I can't react, so I am considered grappled.
Yeah, it wraps its whip around and then quickly jumps off the edge, and the big one comes on over and grabs the small one and starts yanking, trying to pull you from under the train, or trying to get the train to fall on top of you.
Yep. Train is gonna wobble. I'm gonna roll a 20 for
Yeah.
that. Okay. Yeah, the train starts listing towards the he's hoisting it in the air, he's flying kinda. Train is listing dangerously close to the passengers in the station.
They're just yanking harder.
Yep. As you hear screaming and panic.
And now it's the hero's turn. Yeah, B, you hear that going on, and you notice the train is listing. So do you want to continue fighting your combatant while you're also seemingly have necrotic damage?
Well, what she's going to do is kind of laugh off the injury, and as a bonus, and her laughing it off is going to heal her because she's going to use her bonus action to cast Healing Word on herself.
I will say, because of the shade and also the necrotic, it is going to be a weakened.
What disadvantage?
Yeah, roll disadvantage. This is not going to be easy.
Well, Healing Word is just an auto.
Oh, it's
Well,
an
yeah,
automatic, but
that's
okay,
why
half
I
it
said
then, half the health.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Half the health.
Okay, that's fine. It still starts to close up as she kind of smirks at the shadow guy, and then turns.
I will say the eerie thing is the black stuff is still there. The wound is closed, but it's still spreading slightly.
Yeah, that's fine. She will then turn, and I will make a strength check as she runs full force into the. She's basically trying to break the hold, so she's gonna fly full force into Mr. Shocky over there.
Well, there's two Shockies. There's the big one and the small one.
She's gonna fly in between them into the where they're holding each other.
A rope,
Okay.
a whip.
Well, not the whip. The whip is electric.
yeah.
She would get electrocuted.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, she'll see. Well, it's probably the big one with the strength, so she'll go after the big one then.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it would be unarmed strike.
Mhm.
17.
That would land at least on the small one. At least. You are kind of hitting, I imagine, in between, like, them holding each other.
Yeah, she's trying to break the hold so that Harper can just fucking,
Eat a train.
Yep. So, all right. They will take 3 damage as she flies into them.
You see the big one lets go of with one of his hands, but he's still holding on with the other as you see him like slightly slide a little bit.
Yeah, the train teeters dangerously close to the passenger's platform.
You haven't fully you've loosened their grip substantially, but
Yep.
not enough for them to let go.
Harper is going to say, everyone move out of the way. And he's going to try one more time to leave a train at his enemies. The enemy. The guy. Plus, 19. Hit.
Yeah, and 19 for what?
To hit the big guy.
Oh yeah, the 19 does land on the big guy. You're
Okay,
gonna,
now I'm gonna roll my damage. Is
you're trying to throw the
basically
train now?
improvised weapon. It's gonna be a D12 plus my strength. Is 12.
You
D12 damage.
throw it,
As
and
he's-
the little,
he heaves it and he says, "I like trains."
oh god, you see the little one jump out of the way as the big one. You hear a loud. Now, you hear the impact, but you're expecting to hear a crunch. But all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
like
you
crunch
instead
metal.
hear a.
A loud explosion. Train
As,
probably gets obliterated.
Well, actually, you see the little one look around, looks where you think it's hit. It shrugs and disappears as well. Well, it disappears.
Where did
And
the train go?
B, what you see is the train's there, and you see a large indent in the front, but what it hit is gone.
Harper says,
Okay.
"They got phase shifting."
Yeah, I noticed. She will unfortunately spend her turn making everybody visible. Casting Fairy Fire. As the entire area gets lit up with violet light, outlining anybody that's there.
It finds nothing.
They're not invisible, I guess.
Nope.
And then she'll point up and say, "We still have to deal with Ugly up there."
Agreed. Yes. And he's going to basically trying to think what Harper do. It's basically dead, so yeah, he's gonna take his own whip out, and he's going to try and restrain, electro whip and restrain the dead guy, or whatever that thing is.
Okay. It's floating in there, but you're trying to restrain him?
Yeah, and basically try and basically it's a grapple check,
Mhm.
but it's contested.
Okay, then do so.
$17.
It well, it rolled a 20.
Yeah, so it
You teleport up to grab it, and instead, what happens? It grabs you.
Yep.
It quickly turns around with you in its hand, your arm in its hand, and you feel searing pain as it holds you, and you see black stuff starting to creep around your arm as it.
Ow, 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 ow. This is not comfortable. This is definitely not comfortable. I do not like this. It's just groaning in pain and agony.
That was the wrong decision, little fly. It says while pointing at you, while holding its scythe.
And yep. That's all Harper can do.
Okay, oh, this is gonna suck for Queen Bee. Yeah. She unfortunately, Harper, you're gonna have to take another round of that because she is going to try and fly over the smoke into the sun, and
the smoke tries to follow you. You notice.
yeah, that's fine as long as she can get sunlight, which she will. Basically, so here's what's going to happen. She is going to fly up, absorb sunlight, shrink, fly into Senior Death, and then explode the concentrated sunlight.
Ah. Well,
Which is going to hurt her.
Yeah. Even while going through the smoke and inside of it that's filled with smoke, you feel almost the same exact pain that you felt when that scythe hit you. But now you're surrounded by it. So you're gonna, let's just say you take about 3 necrotic damage just by being in there before you even explode.
Yeah, that's fine. And then I guess it would be what? D20 plus wisdom.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, actually, I would have to make a wisdom saving.
Yeah, wisdom saving throw. Then, well, does it have to?
Yes.
Okay.
You have to move yourself.
Oh, is it against do we roll against each other? Is that what it is?
No. It's your wisdom score or your what do you? So it's your yeah, it'll be contested to make it super easy.
Fair enough.
Tell me what you
Unfortunately,
think.
because I can't pull up your stats at the moment.
Well, I have them up, so that's cool.
Yeah.
I rolled a 16.
I rolled a 15, so you beat in that score. Yep.
Okay, and what would be the dice of an explosion
How powerful?
from the inside?
Is it like a solar blast?
It's basically she's turning herself into the equivalent of a solar grenade.
D12. Actually, you know what? Make it 2d12. It's like a ultimate. But it's gonna weaken you greatly, so yeah. That's the caveat.
Yeah,
You're gonna sacrifice your next turn.
that's fine. 13, I guess, radiant.
Radiant damage. Okay.
You practically explode, and you see the thing launch backwards, and it practically throws Blip. Because it is pretty high up too, and he's
It's going
thrown.
flying.
Yeah, and it flies backwards, and then it recovers.
And Blip sees a like 2-inch form falling from the sky at the moment.
Yep. As he's going to reach out his hand, try and Blip catch you. Mid fall. Hands. Cupped hands. I'm gonna have to roll to do that. Uh, 17. What's your AC?
15.
He catches you.
Mhm.
Now he's gonna have to take bludgeoning damage from the fall. Takes 5 damage, and he's looking pretty battered. Let's see, goes poof to the pavement hard. You hear like the cracking of some whips that you just hear.
The Reaper dude looks at you two, and I like that idea. You're both kind of like fading in and out by this point. It looks at you two, lets out a little chuckle, and then it just, well, all of a sudden the small little electric dude shows up, holds the skeletal dude, and they both disappear.
Harper is like coughing and wheezing as like he spits up some blood onto the pavement.
And that arm is still
He
zeroing.
he
Is
uncups
painful.
his hand. You're just sitting in his hand.
Yeah. And she will, seeing him ragged as she starts to wake up, she'll put her hand, like as she's trying, a little bit of sunlight radiates through Harper, and she's gonna cast Cure Wounds on him.
Okay. Uh,
That would be 9.
okay. Yep. He's okay. He's stable, but
And the arm is still
11.
black as hell.
Yep. He looks at the arm and he says, "Well, that's not going away."
Both of you that have those black wounds have not gone away and have only have grown at least for the last like minute,
He says,
very
"You
slowly.
need to get to my lab. I'm going to try and blip, but I'm going to roll disadvantage because he is weakened." Uh, ooh. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take the 1,
Oof.
Well, that's fine.
and you blip into the pool,
We
and you just hear like bubbling water and stuff like that as Blip is still electrified, and yep, is
Oh,
take another
geez, this is going to hurt
2
all of us.
damage.
Yeah. That's gonna be some damage right there for you.
It's gonna be a D4. 3 damage to everyone.
Yay.
That's unfortunate.
Yep.
She'll
And he's just
throw him out of the pool.
He, as you, well, he lets go of you. You're just kind of like sinking under the water, like gurgling. And his
Yeah.
body is flailing violently, like in the water, and then it just kind of rests, and his body's just kind of floating on the top of the water, motionless. Basically,
She'll,
he stopped his heart.
yeah, she'll start growing.
He's face down in the water.
Yep. She'll grow, stand up, thankfully that the pool is only at the like 3-foot mark. And she'll walk over to him and she will pick him up and start CPR.
Yep. I am going to say, roll a strength check for,
Okay, I'll roll it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a 5.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna make it super difficult. You had to be at least a 3. So, like, he coughs, wheezes, spits up some more blood and water, and chlorinated water in your face. And he says, I believe that's, says, did anyone catch the number of that train that just came through?
Well, all those bleeps are cool and all, but also it makes it so I can't understand what you're saying.
Well, that's the point.
He was cursing.
Oh yes.
It's the
She
swear button on my...
Yeah. Anyways.
she says that train's name was Harper West. How about this? You blip yourself, I'll meet you there. I would prefer flying anyway.
Says, fair enough.
At least that dark cloud's gone.
Yeah, Weekly gets up, like, off the, thing, sits down on a shade lounge and says, give me just a few as he pants, looking at his arm. What is this stuff anyway? Let's see, like, using one of the tools that, Ace gave him, he's going to analyze it.
We're gonna get home and then analyze the stuff on your.
Well, he's doing like a cursory analysis with it. So what do I need
roll.
to roll? Investigation?
Investigation, yeah.
18.
It's like the equivalent of what happens when you get bit by certain spiders, where your arm practically rots. That's what you can recognize, that this seems like dead tissue, or at least your arm is practically being rotted.
He looks at Queen Bee and says, "We need to get medical attention, and
What is it? You keep lagging out.
we need to get medical attention soon." He says,
Yeah. Oh yeah, while you're at base, there's someone missing from the bed.
"Yep." And the president wakes up and comes in and says, "Uh, good morning. Good morning. Hello?
There's a whole lot of cat fur, but no cat.
Where did everyone go? Around.
Hello.
Hello. Walking around. He walks into the lab
Up there he is.
and he says, looking at the computer, "Well, I guess they're off doing something." Sits
Yeah.
down at the computer and starts clicking away at keys. And we cut back to the
Yay.
Yeah. As far as medical attention at the moment, uh, Queen Bee just basically does the old time zombie thing where it's tie off the cut, as it were.
Yep.
Uh, so she's, grabbed a towel, ripped a strip of it off, and has tied it around her arm very tightly.
Hoping that will stop the necrotics.
Well, if it doesn't, her second option is to channel sunlight into a blade and cut her arm off.
Fun.
Yep.
I don't think Blip wants to do that.
Nope. Flip gets up and he's weakly walking towards, the exit to the parks. He is too weak to blip.
That shield is there, and when you walk towards it, it usually opens up a little bit, but it has not opened.
He looks at the shield. Why? And then he just looks at the sky, up at the shield dome, and just says, "You, Baxter."
Yeah. She'll, just kind of realizing what's going on, because she's not an idiot. And, megalomaniacal villains are kind of what military deal with sometimes.
Yeah.
So, she is going to start stomping her way towards Baxter's place.
You're gonna go to like the underways,
The Underhub.
the underhub.
Oh yeah.
Well, you walk to an exit of the entrance of the underhub, and either it's not there or you cannot find it. You know it should be here, but either it's not there, you can't find it, or it's locked.
Yeah, it's like basically one of these backdoor access doors. The keypad is red,
Yeah.
and when you enter your employee ID, it says access denied.
She will hit her calm thing and say, "All right, you little furry bastard. Get up here and face me like, well, the man you were supposed to be, you little fuzzy bastard."
You're just met with static.
Right. Well, hard way it is then, she says, and she will look down at her arm, probably feeling it drain her of her strength. And I will make a medicine roll to see if I can cut this thing off without bleeding out. Because her next thing is flying up into the air and then bombarding the ground with solar energy until she can make a hole.
Fun.
So, alright. Oh, thank Christ. 17 to cut off her arm.
Yep. Gone. Arm on the floor now. As the arm falls to the floor, you see the necrotics speed up all of a sudden as you see your arm practically just rot on the spot.
It disintegrates into a pile of ash.
Yep. Luckily, because she was using solar energy, it cauterized it.
Yay. Probably hurt like a motherfucker.
Oh yeah,
All
she
you hear is
screams.
just
Yeah, pretty much. And then she once again will shout into the earpiece. All right, we'll do this the hard way. And she'll fly up and then basically Pokemon Solar Beam the ground until there's a opening big enough, even if she has to
Parket's
go.
just staring in shock and disbelief.
As you do, you hear a light alarm in the distance. As blip, you look and you see a large black disc flying over to the blast. As it flies in the way and reflects it back at you. B. B.
Yeah.
Gonna take your own damage.
Take your own damage.
Okay.
Or you can dodge it. I'll be merciful. I'm a merciful man.
Yeah. Acrobatics will work.
Because I don't want to be too much of an
Acro-
asshole.
acrobatics with
Huh?
acrobatics with advantage because you saw it coming.
Yeah. Well, you didn't see it coming,
you
but
saw
more,
it out
it's
of
your
the corner
own
of your
attack.
eye.
It's your own attack. It shouldn't be that hard to dodge.
22.
You reflect it.
Okay. Yeah, she'll go and find another place and she might not do the same thing, but she will start. Actually, she knows exactly how to get him out.
The black disc flies away after you done trying to damage property.
Yeah. She's going to. She's gonna walk over to a few of the rides and basically point blank the consoles with a gun. Because
And
if there's one thing that Baxter will answer for, probably is the destruction of his shit.
Yep. Which ride are
You
you
just-
going to? You're in Shadow City right now.
What ride?
She'll. How many rides are in Shadow City?
There are three major rides. There's the Molten Hornet, which is like kind of like a one of those motion simulator like arm ride things. There's also the Savage Downfall, which is the
Roller coaster.
roller coaster, and then there's also the Shadows of Night dark ride.
Big ride.
Yeah. Probably go after the Molten Hornet and the Savage
Downfall.
thing. Yeah.
Yep. The
And
rides
like
are
I said,
running right now, and you just go. The ride operator's standing there, and he says, "Excuse me, ma'am, you can't be back here."
sorry, my
Mhm.
quarrel isn't with you, it's with your boss. And she'll move him back. She'll tell him to step back and then pop, pop.
And you just
Mm.
hear.
Before you actually commit a fire, you hear someone walk up. I wouldn't do that if I was you.
She turns and looks.
It's detective.
Well,
I want to
then you
recommend
can get your boss up here and I can
I
and
know,
I
I
can
know.
burn his fur.
Yes, I know. You're mad at the boss, but I'll be honest. It's concerning. I'm not gonna be against you. He says, while putting his hands up. I'm more concerned for the boss's mental well-being than you'll be surprised.
Meanwhile, in the background, you just hear the ride say, as the ride pulls into the station for the load of riders.
She hasn't fired yet, so.
No, I'm just saying, like, background noise. Thank
Yeah.
you for riding Savage Downfall. Have a great day, and please remember to keep an eye on your young heroes.
At the very least, he owes me an arm.
Yes, yes, yes. I don't know what's wrong with the boss. Ever since he added that weird contraption on his back to keep himself from literally exploding, at least in his own words, it's his mental state has been gotten real bad. Me and most of the park guardians have gotten concerned.
She nods. I'm trying to remember. Was there like a medical one?
No.
There could be,
Uh,
because Baxter made all sorts of robots, but not sure if they're
we really
available
want to
now.
make a, if we really want to make a medical one,
I think that would be a Dr. S,
Dr.
the
S.
Naga, but that would be all the way in the villain section.
Yep. She's going to say, you're probably gonna need to get the snake over to Harper. She says.
Yes.
Meanwhile,
If you're all
we cut to Harper crawling towards the villain section, like zombie crawl, like on his belly.
You see him you're near like the water and villain section, because I imagine they're kind of one in the same area.
They're nearby. Yep.
The villain section has a little evil layer underwater, I imagine. So yeah, they're pretty much overlapped.
It's a water ride. What is it
Yeah.
called? Oh, do we call it
I'm not sure. But you
what's his
Harper,
name?
come on.
It's
We got to
What?
continue the show.
Lightfall.
Ah,
All that.
Lightfall. But you see a overflow come out of the water and see you.
And you just see him like hold up like a hand weakly and then collapse, and he passes out.
Yeah. It picks you up, and yeah, next thing you wake up, you're in the villain area with Dr. S looking over you.
And we come back to
Back to B.
Yeah. She'll look at the detective and say, so, can you at least get me in there?
I think, but the boss won't be happy about it. I recommend to stay discreet. Him and his new, what do he call them? Showstoppers. He called them the Showstoppers, yes. Probably already had a run-in with them, to be honest. He wanted to see how they worked.
She points over to her now rotted arm,
which is just a
laying
pile
on the
of
ground.
just a pile of ash on the floor.
Real nasty piece of work, them. They're way worse than us. We were meant for entertainment, and yeah, we had defensive abilities, but our main thing was, the park. These guys, oh no, they're not. They're almost completely armed to the teeth when it comes to defensive and destructive capability. Well, anyways, I can get you in there, but we're both gonna have to be very quiet if you're good at that, he says.
She says, oh, I'm the best, she says, and she'll shrink and then just kind of
As you
hide in
shrink, the ride operator, who's just kind of like backpedaled up against the door, just kind of looking to you, looking to Shadow Dude, looking to you, looking back to Shadow Dude, and then
Okay.
says, "Excuse me, I think I have a ride to run."
Yes, you go do that. Either way, just go in my pocket, and I'll take you to as far as I can.
She nods and will zip into the pocket.
He practically turns into a shadow, and because you're with him, you also turn into a shadow as he pretty much goes into a little tiny crack.
Hostile
then he
forces
appears.
detected. Arming raid defenses.
What the hell? What was that?
Thank you, Lotus, for the raid.
That was scary.
Attention, we are being followed. Shall I dispatch the welcoming drones?
No. Anyways. No!
Yes, all the welcoming drones.
Attention, we are being followed.
Jesus!
Shall I dispatch the welcoming drones?
It's gonna happen
Jesus.
for a while. I do apologize, guys.
Jesus.
Thank you
But,
for the follows, guys.
Shadow Man gets on to over to the underhub, and he gets into a nice.
Attention, we are being followed. Shall I dispatch the welcoming drones?
But anyways, is as Shadow Man leads you down, and you see a marching of brand new robots. They kind of look like the jetpacks, but more heavily armored as they march through. Oh, and Shadow Man quickly hides behind a corner as he goes, "Okay, you can get out.
He'll flutter out.
If you can't tell, things have gotten a lot worse down here, and me and all the park guardians have gotten concerned."
Yeah, well, probably with good reason.
You know, well, we need to figure out how to fix our boss. I know you probably want to obliterate him to Kingdom Come, but I don't think it's his fault. Well, not fully. There's something wrong with that machine he put in his back. It's doing something to his brain. He was perfectly fine mostly until he put it on. And of course, he also was mostly fine until he watched that the congratulation ceremony thing. He said something about being forgotten, and then this started happening. He's not stable.
Well, this is going to be fun. Right. Just all right. Here's what I'm gonna need you to do. I am going to need you to make sure that the park guests are remain safe.
That's our main function. That's why we've been on top all day.
She nods. Well, get back there. I can handle it from here.
Okay, then.
Hold
Good
on,
luck.
guys. Pause.
Okay.
We're having a little bit of a technical issue, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize in advance.
What's the issue?
The audio for the cast is not coming through properly, and we are trying desperately to fix it for you. So please give us just a few moments to try and fix it. All right, guys, I need you to start talking.
Okay, your stupid new thing has been freaking everything. Anyways.
Derp, derp, derp.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's. Hold on, let me boost the cast.
Maybe you shouldn't have tried to rush it for today.
Oh, you're good.
Jesus.
All right, let's see what we can do. I'm gonna. Hold on. Code. Routing.
Come on.
So you guys are on cast. Let's go line out and there. All right, give us just a moment, guys. We'll fix this. Oh, you can hear them, Lemon?
Let Megaton be our saving grace.
Uh-huh.
You hear the cast, right?
Derp, derp,
Yeah.
derp, derp.
The words we say. Say
Oh,
onion
that's
if
you.
you hear us.
Okay. You know what I'm gonna do? Hold it. There we go.
Lemon, say
Everything
onion
on
if you hear
to
us.
the feed. All right, try,
Like,
guys.
say
Okay.
onion. Whoever can hear us can say onion, and they will know.
Yeah. Onion, bunion, bunion, ring.
Onion ring,
Uh,
funyun ring. Ugh, onions. More of a garlic man.
Interesting. Okay.
It's like a tiny onion.
I mean, I'm
Oh,
picking up
Jesus.
audio capturing on the cast mics, so that's super weird. You heard the onion, right?
Onion.
Okay, so that's at least working. Can anyone
Blunion.
else hear the cast?
Like, we need other people to say onion to notice that we heard that onion, the secret word onion. It's the secret phrase. Yeah, the secret phrase of onion with shoes. The onion's got moves. The onion grooves. Someone let the onion loose.
Say something, guys. Yeah. let's try that. All right. Say something. It's
So
set
let
to
him
the right
schmooze.
setting. Fast mic. So that's super weird why it's not working.
Gonna hiss at you like a snake.
All right.
Angrily.
All right. Well,
And-
we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna try and. Okay. Well, Lemon, you can hear him.
The most important viewer, the person that
I do not know why, but I'm sorry, Lotus, if you can't hear them. Maybe try raising your volume or something on your end.
or maybe you're muted.
No, they said it was. They said it was them.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. We're
So
good to go,
fine,
guys.
also-
All right. Let's continue.
Yeah, we're wasting time, but anyways.
Yeah.
Mr. Detective just goes, good luck, and try not to cross against any of the, well, any of the showstoppers, nor Baxter himself, maybe. He probably has the showstoppers around him. And if you're surrounded by them, God have mercy, as you're not going to be able to handle them. He says, well, then he turns into a shadow and leaves.
Yeah. She will stay her small size and start flying through the Undercroft for a bit, stopping only for a second to grow big and then right back down to small because of her.
Mm.
Yeah. Although it is considerably longer than it was before, she still has to be tall after a bit.
Yeah.
And cut
You-
into the Baxter's lair where we see
Baxter layer. Come
okay.
on.
Yeah, and where do you have your little friend?
Ah, yes. Baxter chuckles to himself as he walks into a new room he built, filled with random tools, machines, and a little holding chamber. Comfortably dressed, surprisingly. There's our little friend, Secret, sitting there. Probably still sleeping, to be honest.
No, she's banging against the cage.
Ah,
Let me
yes.
out. Let me out. This is not right, Baxter. You
Huh.
know this.
Calm down, calm down. I'm not gonna hurt you. Just
What
want
they
to
all
talk.
say. And they start, doing
Well,
crazy things.
I'm not actually going to hurt you. At least nothing deliberately painful or anything that's gonna last very long. I'm not gonna torture you or anything. I just
That's what
wanna
they all say.
I just want to have some help and work. You're the closest thing to me, anyways. Only tiny little experiments that I'll make sure you can't feel any pain.
Oh, so now you want to probe me and,
Came out wrong. Either way, calm down. I just need a little information. You're one of the few people that actually hasn't done anything to me. At least nothing yet. So you better be happy that you have my gracie.
she just turns her back to you and kind of crosses her arms and her tail just kind of side to side. She's not happy with you.
Of
And what
course,
have
you
you
know.
done to the rest of
Oh.
our friends?
No worries. They only had a little run in. Maybe one or two of my new creations, but it's fine. I told them not to hurt them, well, not to kill them. I just needed a little bit of a test run, and I needed the real deal.
You better not have hurt my friends, Baxter.
Well, I didn't. I just told my inventions to go hog wild and just don't kill them. So I am not specifically responsible for what they choose to do.
Just this is slightly under her breath.
Don't play sassy with me. Hey, who's in the cage? And either way, you can't run away or even do that little visible thing. I have that nice and locked.
She is going to go you realize you don't realize, but I need to pull up her stats. Okay. Oh wow.
Are you slightly more high pitched than usual?
Yes, because I'm talking like her.
Wow. Anyway. Wow. It's true.
As a 19 to tickle you
What's she
for
doing?
she's trying to pick the lock.
A 19.
Yep.
It definitely works. But Baxter just kind of smiles and watches her try to run. And this is, of course, why I have backup. Showstopper, I need you. All of a sudden, all of a sudden, something invisible picks her up.
The cage or like how big is the cage?
It just picks her up and then locks her into like a bed thing with shackles.
Oh, she's like singing like no.
No, Morse code. Anyways,
Yeah. She's like uh she's like singing like claws out like it's like you won't get away with this, Baxter.
oh, oh, but I will, my dear. I'm tired of being forgotten and pushed to the side or used. And it's just about time I use something. I'm tired of being everyone's little toy. Either way, a large needle comes out and stabs her side. Good night. As it was a sleep agent thing.
Yep.
Way.
And we cut back to Harper.
Burr
and
with Dr.
yep,
S. You see Dr. S and in like a little
yep.
water thing you see overflow.
Where am I?
Calm down, calm down. You're fine. Mostly.
Uh,
I have to say that was a nasty wound.
he looks down and he's like looking at his like legs and stuff, which are probably necrotic.
I imagine, and you had a run-in with Jen, if that was the name. Oh, nice. Yes. Nasty piece of work, sadly.
Just says, I can't feel my legs.
Don't worry, don't worry. It's only temporary, mostly. I had to remove your arm and legs. But don't worry, Baxter has plenty of prosthetics that he was going to make. Sadly, it doesn't seem like he's ever going to give these to charity, like he said.
He looks
Either.
at like his arm, his like he holds up a hand and like his mechanical arm, and you just hear him scream.
Calm down. Do not. Overflow just covers your mouth with water.
Yeah, the gurgling.
Eventually you stop. Are you done?
He nods.
Overflow removes. If you scream too much, Baxter will notice us. Me and the other park guardians are trying to work down low against, well, Baxter's plans. Not to overthrow him or anything. We don't want him to be like this. But right now, all we can do is do as much damage control as we can.
I think you guys have done enough damage control. He says this. He's like, I don't. You don't know about the monorail. He says, yeah, you're gonna have to get a new one.
Don't worry, we've already gotten some last of the jetpack robots to try and fix it. Sadly, they're being replaced with new, bulkier ones. Either way, we're afraid we're going to get replaced eventually, so we're trying to make do as much as fast as we can.
As seems like whatever Peter did to Baxter is
I don't believe Peter did much. Well, as my theory, I was given similar intelligence to Baxter by my own theory, is after Baxter seen what would happen to him within 2 days, he tried to conjure up a device. But his exact words to us when he put it up, before he put it on, was it would be great for his mental health, his physical health, horrible for his mental health. He slightly, maybe in a joke, said, plugging it in. And then he started becoming unstable and snapped. And now, ever since that little congratulation thing with the president you all had, Baxter seemed betrayed in some way, and he is snapped. We've all been concerned for him.
I understand. He says we have kind of been neglecting Baxter, and that's mostly our fault. I
Yes,
wish
and
there's some
now
way we could make that up to him, but
I'm
right
not sure
now,
if there
given his
is.
mental state, I don't know if it's safe to approach him on that matter. I'll need you guys'
Yes, yeah.
help.
All I know is this has been one catastrophic, well, screw up on your end.
Looks down solemnly.
And I'm afraid we're starting to lose our old master.
What
And
can I
if we
do to
don't,
help?
I'm
Says,
not specifically sure. All I know is Queen Bee, he, according to Detective, has managed to get down into the underhub from Detective's help. But I'm not sure if you could be any help down there.
says,
No
where's
offense.
the says
Mhm.
the reactor core for the main power grid? Is that still protected properly?
Of course it's protected.
I might need to
That's,
get to that and see if I can get Baxter's attention.
I would not recommend it. If you get his attention, you'll probably get attention of the showstoppers.
Let's not like I can walk through the underhub's back door or front door.
Of course. Well,
And he's been ignoring my calls.
yes. He, unfortunately, like I said, has gotten down a dark path all of a sudden. All I can say is maybe either Detective or even I could open up an access to the hubs, but it would be inherently dangerous for you, as you don't strike me as the pinnacle of stealth. No offense.
I'm taken. Says,
It's, it's dangerous, but I guess overflow could lead you down to a water pipe that leads directly in the underhub.
as long as it's not a sewer pipe, he says.
It's not a sewer type pipe, it's a cleaning pipe for water.
Ah,
Overflow would have to stop the large rotating brushes and stuff so you don't get torn apart, but I imagine you can get in pretty easily.
right. Says, I'm gonna be good.
Overflow looks at you and
Yep. Sorry, I'm yawning.
just
Says,
go with Overflow. Overflow will try and make it for you.
understood, he says. And gets off the I guess like the medical bed and kind of like wobbles a lot as he's trying to get used to his new synthetic legs. These things are not the easiest to negotiate, he says, as he kind of like takes a step forward, wobbles.
It is
He's trying to like
surprising to
walk in
notice.
high heels, basically. That kind
It
of
is
effect.
surprising to notice that with your robotic hand, it actually has feel in it.
Well,
Oh,
that's
it's a weird feeling because it's not
yeah,
what you're used to, but it's still a level of feeling.
yeah. He's trying to like will himself to walk normally. Says these things are gonna take a little bit of getting used to, and I can tell, but this is better than having none at all.
They will hopefully Overflow moves a little bit out of the way so you can jump
Yep,
with
climbs into the pipe.
it. As you do, it makes it a bubble for you as it leads you to like under the water of the pool, and you see this large pipe.
And we cut back to
Back to B.
Yep.
Queen B. Queen B, you're up.
Yep.
As you're sneaking about. Now, do you see these, more basic pawn robots? They look a little more bigger, a little more vicious, and they don't have the funny B1 voices anymore.
No.
yeah, for robot voices like this.
Like what?
I am a robot.
That's not how that works.
Okay. Then she will make her in her small form, she'll fly like up in the pipes and stuff,
The
out
vent.
of sight.
Yeah.
And she'll make her way towards Baxter's lab.
As you're going, you lightly hear something coming from a different, and it seems to be this large conference room that you lightly remember being in before.
Mm-hmm.
You see a chair that's similarly Baxter's. It's big. It's almost like a throne.
It
And then a
actually
bunch-
looks like a throne now.
yeah. As you actually hear noise, and it seems to be different new individuals, but you would have to look. You're just hearing as you play.
Yeah. She'll
Mhm.
let's see. She'll go and quickly look at the moment.
As you look, you see some of the show stuff. You see Jin, that damn Reaper thing that did this to you. And you also see the big and small one. As you also see a chair get moved, and then you hear a sound of something sitting down, but you don't see anything. But you also see what seems to be a walking slot machine, pretty much. Walk in and sit down. And you see them all practically lately just sitting there. As you see a door open and you see Baxter walk. Do you want to sit there and listen, or do you want to soup? Because now you know Baxter's not going to be where you're going.
Yeah, she's going to fly up, and yeah, she'll listen for
It's
a
sitting on top
bit.
of like the ceiling mounted projector.
Baxter goes, "Well, that was a riveting test from both Jen and, of course, this Overshock and Breaker. Congratulations!" Clapping. Either way. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get some other tests done, as missing or asleep, and I don't want to bother them. I'm polite after all. Either way, it's great. You almost killed them, and I told you not to. And you know what? Impressive. Way better than I expected. Thank you, Master. Either way. Now, of course, our little friends used to be friends, he says, clenched teeth. Well, definitely have gotten a wake-up call. Yeah, call. On they're not the biggest kids on the block. And with these tests and new strategies, I can also improve. That whole moving past the shadow cloud and blasting you with solar energy is an issue. Should probably make the shadow cloud bigger. Either way, congratulations. And of course, our little guest, just inside of containment, is also doing delightfully fine. Just a little work here and there, and they'll be good as. What do you plan to do with Master? Nothing bad. They're the only person that didn't betray me. So, I'm gonna let them scot-free, honestly. Well, as good as it can be. I just need to look around a bit to figure things out.
Fortunately, I won't be able to do it with the others. Unless they're around, actually, no doubt. Either way. And then the little slot machine like speaks up. What are you gonna do with all of the guardians? If you don't mind me asking. Oh, them. Don't worry. My loyal guardians used to maybe. I'm not sure if I. I'll have to give them some new upgrades and changes. But that's later. I need to focus on getting you guys just and right and proper. He's a little beeping. Oh, look at the time! I must return back to our little guest. All of you, just go around, do your own thing. To your rooms. Yeah, your rooms. I've been working really hard on them. And then Baxter leaves, and everyone.
Yeah, Queen Bee is actually going to follow after him. I will make a stealth roll. She's like gonna fly behind him. You,
Like
when
through the
he
conference
goes
room?
to like open the door, she'll fly in.
Through the conference room?
Up
But
above, yeah.
yeah, roll that with disadvantage.
Well, it would cancel it out because I get advantage for being tiny.
Damn it, you're right. Well, then you just get a normal roll then.
Dirty 20.
30, 20?
Yeah, a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. Does that beat a 28?
Obviously not.
No.
Damn. Shit. Well, either way, as you move through, you see that chair that looked like someone was in hasn't moved yet until you go through and you see it quickly get up, and all of a sudden, and you see a bunch of lasers focusing on you, an alarm. And then all of the showstoppers stop, and Baxter goes, "Hmm? Oh, there you are! Now what you do?"
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Let's see. What is she going to do? I think she is going to.
I knew you were gonna be sneaking in the vents.
She'll she'll kind of laugh and she'll grow big and he'll see her missing arm.
Oh, that's what happened. Good job, Jen. Well, I seen it with my own eyes, kind of, but still beautiful. So nice to see a old ex-friend come on in after betraying somebody's trust and just leaving them to the damn side of the damn street. He says, "Well, you see, like something well up in his eyes a little bit. Like, is that liquid? Why is his eyes sweating? Anyway."
She just looks and is like, so all of this is because you think we betrayed you.
Of course! You betrayed me and left me. Just like Peter did! All you did was use my inventions that I gave you out of good of heart. And you never even said I even existed.
She says, let me clarify something for you. She says, one, it wasn't that we neglected you. Two, your choice, not ours. Three, I have been nothing but nice and understanding since I met you.
He starts shaking as you see tears going down his face. I'm sorry.
All of a sudden, you hear sparking from his back as you see electricity and energy cross through the little machine on his back, and he goes, "That doesn't matter." He says as a little bit of force energy goes past him, and you see things get thrown.
Yeah, she continues, still holding up one hand with 4. 4. I am in the same set of circumstances you are, she says. I was screwed over by the same bastard.
And I can't let that happen again.
You hear the energy starting to started to build up on his back again.
Yep, and she will not miss a beat and keep going. She says it was because of your help that we were able to save those people from the plane. It was because of you that we were able to stop most of the things. You're the one that wanted to stay in the shadows. We didn't want you there. And I will make a persuasion.
All right. This is gonna be This Baxter is kind of mad. I'm gonna have you guys.
What am I rolling?
You're rolling your intimidation against her persuasion.
Ah, yes. I'm not gonna win this.
21.
Yeah, I lost. I rolled a 12. He goes,
No, it's
tears start like uncontrollably going from his face.
She will slowly start walking towards him, not hostile.
Is
The robots will tell.
Is the sparking thing still happening?
Yeah, it's uncontrollable. You see like the back of the wall gets seared by energy. And
Yeah,
as
that's
you get
fine.
closer-
Even if she gets hit, she'll keep walking forward.
as you get closer, you realize like
Calibration off. Filter. Warning. Calibration off. Filter.
you look and
Calibration immediate.
you see like his hand that he's holding up to his forehead, like just uncontrollably just sitting there. And you see a part of his hand, it starts breaking apart, and you see like this fiery energy start coming out of the hole.
Yep,
You
she
hear a little
will.
beeping coming from his machine on the back.
Yep. The moment she gets close enough, like I said, she's not being hostile or anything, not raising any hands,
He'd started
and
around him.
she will go to hug him, and then I will make a strength check, and this is going to be terrible, but because I know it's gonna hurt the hell out of her too. She is going to try, after the hug, when she realizes if anything changes, she's gonna try and rip the thing off his back.
Go
But
ahead.
she's gonna, hopefully she can.
His hands are shaking and trembling.
Yeah, she'll,
Stability matrix is critical damage. Warning. Stability matrix critical damage.
yeah,
Maintenance
she'll
immediately.
keep talking, like, basically things like you're the only friend that I have that understands how bad things were, yada yada.
you can't. Even if I wanted, I can't.
You can. And
Stability
this is
matrix
how.
is critical. Seek shelter immediately.
As you reach your hands around, you see you actually feel the machine getting like super hot. As just that weird energy flame is starting to come all over the machine.
Yeah, I rolled
When the show stoppers go, master, just want to, and the plot machine goes, well, that's no good, and I recommend you stop. You're about to break her boss. We kind of need him.
She will.
Hold down. Unit. T minus 10 seconds.
Yep, she will. She will, with one giant pull, pull it off his back, shrink with it in her hands, and fly as far as she can from him. She rolled a 15. I don't know if that'll work, but
What's your
well,
AC, Baxter?
My AC, that would be it's. You pull it out, but I'll say with issue.
that's fair.
You pull out and you see a bunch of pipes and stuff that you realize were directly attached into his like spinal cord. As you pull it out roughly, you see parts of him rip off, and all you see from the back of him is just fiery energy where it was left. No blood, just fiery energy. As
Yep.
And then
he's
Oscar connection with host lost. Self-destruct in 5, 4, 3.
She
machine's about to
flies far and fast with the thing in her hands.
In the underhub, right?
Yeah, down the hall as far as
Around
she
the corner, like you just see like a montage of her just like weaving through like various hallways and the camera tilting back and forth.
Thing starts building up in energy in your hands.
Yeah.
And then as it
There's
explodes, I
a
imagine.
massive explosion. It like throws you in the opposite direction as you let go of this thing and throw it into the air. And I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw first. There's gonna be a lot of checks coming your way.
22.
Okay, you managed to grab onto like one of these railings since your tiny little self. And you're near like this reactor core thing because you thought the power of the reactor would just basically consume the energy. And this reactor is in this machine, but it's overloaded the reactor on the Megaton Tower core. And this blast wave of like radiant energy is just like going all over the place, and it's constant. And I need you now to roll a wisdom saving throw with disadvantage.
Okay, the first one is 9.
9, okay. Yeah, you feel
And the second, yeah, it's 9 if it's
Oh,
disadvantage.
Yep. You feel like a searing energy like flowing through you, and you hear a weird voice. Hold on. I see you. You have done great harm. Yet saved lives.
Who's that?
I
Mario.
will bestow you a gift, but at great cost. You wish to accept my gift. This is all in your mind, by the way.
Yeah. She. I have to flip a coin. Sorry.
Yep, you're good.
Sorry, I'm trying to.
Oh, you're good.
Sure.
Alright. Says, I bestow you the gift of life. And she, basically this energy starts seeping into every orifice and pore on your
Turn off your
body.
echoey.
This energy starts seeping into every pore and orifice on your body.
Ew.
And you grow back to normal size. And the energy is still you're kind of like flapping in the wind as like this energy is just kind of entering your body.
Mm-hmm.
And then it fades as you kind of like go into like this kind of like mental like space kind of thing. And you see this I didn't have this prepared, but you see this kind of like celestial kind of like being just standing there, like radiant being. And can't make any figures except the fact that it's a female. And it says, "Hello, hello, Jess. We have been watching you for quite some time. I apologize for what has happened to you and your friends, but it is for the better."
Is it now?
It was not our intent to harm you in any way, shape, or form, but to gift you and give you great power beyond human comprehension. That is why we are here. We are here for you. You have great destiny and great potential, as well as your friends, so do they too. But our time is short. Our people are dying. Need your help to save them.
She thinks about that for a moment. It's like well, I mean, I don't know how much help a bunch of misfits with powers will be, but she shrugs.
You've done more than enough. Prove you're worthy of our great power. However, one of those among you has tarnished their responsibilities and will face great punishment.
I have a plan. That was
She looks at the voice and says,
The one
"Yeah,
you call
that's not his fault. That's your fault," she says.
And she steps forward. Lays two fingers out and taps you on, just taps you on the forehead. And this is an astral projection that's about to happen. You see, traveling millions of light years away, there is a planet that is orbited by 5 blue giants. The planet goes supernova. And that energy flies across the galaxies towards the solar system. And she says, as you can see, our people have perished. But we came here seeking refuge among your kind. Unfortunately, we didn't know that the man who calls himself Peter Wallace had other plans for our species. That is why we have sought your help. Although, unbeknownst to you and the rest of our kind, it has been said that people like yours have never experienced this kind of power or responsibility before.
I texted you.
However, I believe this power, while wielded correctly, will be used in the right way.
She nods. You're right about one thing. The power, yes, that's probably new. But, the responsibility, she says. She just kind of shakes her head. Not disrespectfully, but like, you got that wrong kind of way. Look, I understand the hopeless situation thing, she says, but Baxter is complicated.
It is
Really,
not of Baxter's doing that he has become what he is. As you can tell, I am not the only one of my kind influencing your people. And you just see in your astral projection, the visage of another creature like her, but male form, and glowing crimson red.
I like to think there's little mechanical components on it,
Yes.
but that's just me.
Well, there's like little mechanical components and stuff like that are just kind of like. Actually, no mechanical components. It's crimson red, but like this wave of black energy is kind of flowing around the very edges of this entity projection. It says, "This is my twin brother, one of many. As you probably don't know, our species, when we have twins, are of opposite genders. We are not identical twins, but he seeks to take over your world and rule it for our own species. My plan is different. I wish to coincide with your people and bring about peace and tranquility. However, my brother uses darker power. One, destruction. Malice. Murder.
Well,
I believe his energy, maybe his entire being, has consumed your dear friend Baxter. And I do not have the mental capability nor the strength alone to remove my brother from your friend. It is up to you now. As she fades and returns you back to your normal corporeal form.
she'll,
As the energy wave subsides.
yeah. Does she feel any different?
Oh, you feel a lot stronger. Congratulations,
Yeah.
you get a level up. Also, Baxter, you get a level up too.
Yay! I imagine he had a
Whoa.
little talk with his boy.
Yes. You want to do that now or no?
If you want, I have an idea how I can
Okay.
handle the bad boy as my own as well.
Okay,
If you
go
don't
ahead.
mind.
Go ahead. I'm not gonna do the voice changer thing.
I have better voice changer. I'm better.
Go ahead.
And I don't know where it is. Oh shit. Panic. Anyways, this will be good.
It's echoey.
Very echoey.
Yep.
Baxter's in his little void.
Yep.
Well, actually, you know what? I'll keep that secret of what happens there.
Yep.
Mystery. You don't get anything.
Yep.
That's fine.
You don't get the brownie. My brownie. Oh. Who's calling? Spam risk.
Baxter just looks over at the phone.
I stopped it. But anyways, Baxter just like he staggers up, still just with a bunch of like energy fire coming out of him. His showstopper's like, "Are you okay?" I'm fine. Fine. We're fine. We're fine. Just in pain. I cannot fail. A burst comes from him, and then he goes back to being upright.
Yep.
Better. Much better. Parts of him that were lost start reconstructing. I'm good. Either way, we have problems to attend to and things to do. And I need you to go and do your jobs. I'm he kind of twitches a little bit. Do what I need to do. Just walking away.
And Harper is 2 pipes.
Yeah, you're going through pipes. You probably heard a large explosion in there. But
And
overflow
Harper
stops these large brushes so you can get through.
goes through and it's probably like sanitation center. I don't
Just walk through and go place.
says, gets out of the bubble, says, thank you. And he says,
Mhm.
then there's that loud, like the whole facility just shakes. So it's like loud rumble.
Overflow looks around, confused, and then looks at you and just leaves.
Harper just shrugs her shoulders. Then calms into, Queen, what was that?
She says, I had a bit of a run-in with a rather large boom, she says. And she'll start walking down the hallway with purpose, and as she's walking down, light starts stitching into an arm.
Yep.
Solar light. And she does that, like, you know,
And
hero walk.
You these mechanical war droids come around the corner and basically block your path in front of you. As your arm
Robot
is growing,
blocks
still growing.
Robot blocks your path.
Yes. And
Okay. She just kind of tilts her head at it. Or at them. And then basically drops to a knee and
Please.
slams her hand.
Freeze, you are under. You're not supposed to be. Stop your hostilities immediately. Surrender.
go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. A little busy at the moment, she says, and she'll cast Earth Tremor and slam the ground, causing them to fall over. Give me a sec.
I just got built.
Make a dex save. DC 14.
Dexter.
Yep.
What'd you get, Dexter?
Oh, I wasn't supposed to. I didn't know I was supposed to roll.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll.
You have to roll because you're a monster.
Dex save.
C14.
Dex save for these robots. Okay. 15.
Oh wow. Not bad.
Give me a my cat's being real naughty. I have.
Okay, well, it's just a thing. She still keeps walking.
I'm back. You trip these robots and just keep on strutting.
Robots start.
Yep.
The robots start trying to get up.
Freeze. All of reinforcements. Deploy. Deploy the.
Sorry, I can't do it.
Deploy the ghost dogs. Oh.
Like, yeah, pet her.
And yeah, you're just walking down the hallway with purpose. Just blasting tiny little robots left and right.
Yep.
And Harper, up ahead, you see like the not the reactor, but the I guess like one of the T junction. Go right or do you go left?
I'm going to use a thing that I don't normally use.
Good.
We are going to use, give me a sec. Oh, crap, I got wild shape now. I didn't know that. Primeval awareness.
What does that do? Sorry.
Let's see. As an action, you can expend a ranger spell slot, 1 minute per level of spell slot, to sense whether any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead are present within 1 mile. I was going to reword that because aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals don't actually exist in this world. So I'm going for little furry creatures.
Alright, so, sure. It is, yep, it's, you're right.
Yeah, without saying anything to Harper, her eyes glowing bright purple, she'll turn down the turn down towards the right.
Harper is, making his way down the hallway as he sees you and says, basically shouts, "Hey, Jess, B, wait up!" He's like trying to follow you as you're just walking with purpose, like, with like murderous intent in your eyes.
Yeah.
Or what a plan is.
Her plan is to try and exorcise the brother out of the Baxter.
Save Baxter. Operation Save Baxter.
And then we have to our dear friend Secret.
Yes. Baxter is walking up to her and has done pretty much what would be considered the last few things he wanted to do. It's done. My head.
He says, what have you done to me?" I'm
Don't-
doing the voice.
Worry, my dear. I have nothing to you substantially.
Well, nothing important. He says, while like pushing away whatever machines were around her.
Yep.
That were not around her at first, but now
Yep.
are.
I have done nothing you need to be concerned about. Nothing at all.
Baxter, roll me a perception check. Would you have question? Would you have unclasped her from the restraints or no?
Oh no, she's still clasped.
Okay,
Okay.
he's gonna
perception
roll
time.
something. Give me a moment.
Well, he's going to let her out in a moment,
Oh, okay.
unless you want me to still roll. I'll still roll. It won't be good, but yeah, he plans to let her out. Oh, there are like there's robots all around, but he just goes,
Now I'm going to kick you out pretty much to that elevator right there.
he says, while robots like unlatch her and pretty much guide her to the elevator.
And she says, "You won't get away with this, Baxter. Whatever you did to me."
Consider this as you're spared.
Gets into the elevator, and before the doors close, she says, "For a bag." As the doors close,
That's rude. Either way.
He like his ear twitches.
That.
Oh, he looks at the doors to his like little room here.
and we cut over to B.
Yep. Like I said,
Harper's
she's
next to you now, and he said, and you just see Harper basically basically.
Oh yeah,
equivalent of
wait
a light
before
go ahead.
before anything, yeah, it's raining and the lights flickered, and this makes me realize because there's no more that battery thing, that AP whatever thing under my desk connected. This means if the power goes out even for a second, my computer and the internet will just go off.
Okay, understood. We're about to end anyway.
So if
Dude.
I disappear, I disappear.
So, yeah, the Harper is basically using electro bolt to basically cut a hole in this blast door. To
He-
your,
he look-
to your lair.
He looks at the door that's being cut and just goes,
You know what?
he just outstretches his hand, and all of the skin and clothing around like like fold out like ribbons.
Yep.
And then you just see like his pure energy arm as also the door just deconstructs.
Yep.
And his arm goes back.
Now I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Who?
Baxter.
Ah, yes.
And what's oh. Alright.
So what did you roll?
I haven't rolled yet because I'm messaging someone else about something. Ask a question. Sorry about that. Where is my rollies? Okay. Exclamation mark. I have to roll a hit. Because, yep. Plus. But here's where it gets fun. Since it's advantage, I rolled 2 of those, and that's 31 to complete your AC.
Whatever. I rolled pretty bad multiple times.
It's okay. It's okay. This is basically Harper's ultimate. It's really overpowered, but it can be defended against.
Well, Baxter's in a little bit of a. This is a very temporary OP for him, I imagine.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
But he's pretty much reached his. Imagine this has his ultimate, becoming practically God. So.
So now I'm gonna roll damage. And that is. Are you ready for the amount of damage you're about to take?
Mm-hmm.
Take 28 damage.
How much?
28 radiant. 28 shock damage.
Well, luckily for me, because he's in his OP mode, what really happens is as you hit him, you see parts of his like skin and clothing just disappear. As
And
it's just that
the red
energy
form.
Well, yeah. It's a mixture of blue and red, like there's 2 things in control.
Yeah, it's kind of swirling, kind of like colors.
He just kind of puts his like hand up to his like face a little bit and just goes, "That is enough!"
As B and Harper are we both need to roll dexterity saving throws. With disadvantage.
Yeah.
This,
19. I rolled a 19 and a 21.
I rolled a 5. So Harper goes flying across out the doorway, up against one of these walls, and just crumples. It's out.
Meanwhile, Jess radiates the light from the thing that happened to her, and she just plants herself.
Yep, you're digging your like feet in, like that, like hero stance. Yep. And
I had enough of you children.
And yep, now it's just you two battling it out. Harper's out of the picture.
Yeah. She looks at the thing and says, "Well," and she just kind of smirks and says, "Brother, let's end this."
Oh, you know that. Talk to my sisters in you. No matter. I'll get my way one or another.
Yeah. Not today, she says, and that hand of light comes up and will irradiate the whole room.
I will let you counter with a counterattack, Baxter.
Counter, yeah! Oh.
Mm.
He,
It's like
outstretched.
necrotic dark damage.
Yeah, stretches his arms and pretty much blasts back in energy.
As you're pushing like the energy, like the center focal point of the energy is going back and forth like this.
Mm-hmm.
What are we rolling to either overpower the other?
I want you guys to roll contested strength checks with advantage.
Ooh.
And then whoever wins rolls an Arcana check.
3 and a dirty 20.
What'd you roll?
I rolled a 12 and a 16.
So basically, the light blue beam hits you, Baxter, but you throw up your hands like this and block the radiation from hitting you, and you basically just absorb the blue energy.
I had enough of these.
Yep. And
Do you have any idea what you're up against?
I have a little bit of an idea, and she will snap her hand that's the light, and I will make the Arcana check.
Yep.
13.
What's your AC, Baxter?
Oh. My 13. My ace 12.
12?
Yeah.
In your mind space, you are now confronted with your brother, who is trying to, that brother entity, who's trying to push their influence forward and basically push your consciousness into the back of your mind. But you also see another entity appear and walk in, and it's this blue female entity. And you're just an observer of these two entities, just one trying to take control over your mind, the other one
I
putting
am
in.
not losing this flesh puppet!
You've had enough fun, brother. It's time for you to go.
This is not fair! Not.
Baxter, roll a wisdom saving throw at disadvantage. Your mind is reeling from all these entities trying to occupy your mental space.
Can Jess cancel out the disadvantage by trying to call out in her own voice?
I'm gonna say no because
Fair enough.
yeah, it's
17.
you're managing to hold on to what little is left of your own consciousness, but these entities are basically just wreaking havoc with your mind, and you're just screaming outwardly in your corporeal form.
I can't handle this anymore.
And this entity, the red entity, is basically going to attack the blue entity. What is the blue entity going to do while you're attacking?
She is going to
I'll tear your body apart so bad they'll think.
she'll just she'll sigh, and then a ball of white energy will basically launch out at the brother.
Baxter, if you're there, roll a dexterity saving throw. With a +7 because of the entity. It's basically using your stats but adding the +7 as a entity.
27.
Yeah. Dodge. Sorry, it's just the way the entity's built.
This is not how it ends.
Baxter,
Yes.
I would like you to roll 2 checks for me.
Mhm.
One is a intimidation check by the dark entity. The other is a wisdom saving throw by your mental state. So you Baxter see this entity trying to save you. But this other entity's getting in the way and trying to push that other entity out.
Well, the bad entity rolled a 12, and Baxter managed to roll a whole.
Or what?
20.
20. Okay.
2
Yeah,
0.
you see the white entity, and you're like reaching out to her. You grab her hand. Now I'm gonna message you, basically, Baxter.
Mhm.
Because something's gonna happen to your character, and it's gonna be permanent until further notice.
No, no, no! You can't do this!
I can and I will. They don't belong to you.
Oh, your toy doesn't belong with you.
That's the difference.
What? What do you mean
She
by that?
accepted it. It wasn't forced upon them.
Basically, Baxter, from what's gonna happen right now,
Oh, the
Baxter's
bodies.
the bodies could be left behind. Your consciousness is now going to be occupying part of
You can't take this toy from me!
you know, if that's okay with you.
Interesting. But what are we gonna do with Baxter's consciousness?
It's now going to occupy on the back burner of
Okay, I get it.
yeah, of Katie's character.
You know what? Fine! Take that! At least I have his damn...
She shrugs.
And we
You think you've won? This is only the...
No, I haven't won, but it'll be fun to watch these people ruin your day.
That's what you think. I'll be back! I will return! And when I do, you'll not be ready.
And then I imagine the body of Baxter disappears.
well, it doesn't disappear. It just
Yeah.
bright flash of red light, blinding.
No, I mean like the entity that's controlled the body takes
Oh, yeah,
it away.
Yeah, the body gets dragged away and slowly fades out of existence. That mind space. And the blue entity fades too.
Wee.
And then Baxter collapses.
Baxter.
Baxter collapses in the in his lair, panting. And now he has new entity fully controlled.
So where's poor Baxter's mind?
It is now in unfortunately it is now residing as a guest in Queen's mind.
Queen, you hear it ahead. What happened?
You look down and you just see your like Queen's form standing there like a projection in this like black void.
Now. What happened?
Go ahead.
Well, I think I saved your life. Although now I have this weird grating voice in my head.
I'm that grating voice. Don't tell me I'm in your head.
She thinks about it for a moment, which Baxter would hear. Huh.
Oh my god. I'm in your brain. Ah! How am I supposed to run my park? What happened? I kind of blacked out for like a day.
Yeah, you tried to kill me.
What do you mean I tried to kill you?
She waves her light hand in front of her own eyes.
What the hell? What happened? What's going on? Is that me on the floor? Oh god, it's getting back up.
You can see her. You can see like through her eyes. It's kind of creepy.
Ah! Ah! I need a new form now. Calm down. I could build it maybe in like A fortnight, yeah, a fortnight. I could. I'm having a panic attack.
You're not gonna be building much of anything, cause yeah.
I know I'm not real, but well, your hands are here. I have my mind intact.
Oh wait, Baxter,
Jesus!
you try. I will let you do something
Mhm.
if you would like to try, but it's gonna be very difficult.
And that is.
What is it? Oh, well, you're texting me. How dare you? Well, I can control your hands, I think, if I want to. But that's not the matter. What's going on? Why is my body crumpled on the floor?
Possessed by an extraterrestrial being.
Fuck!
It says. Don't feel bad. Mine was too. She says.
Well, you haven't lost yours.
Mm. She shrugs.
As this entity appears next to you, Baxter.
Ah!
Hello there.
What the hell is going on? I practically had a coma. But apparently I was still moving, so that's fun.
Yes, I know. It's a little jarring. I do apologize, Baxter, but it's the only way we can save you.
I want a body refund.
He says while crossing his arms.
Jess just kind of looks at him like, are you kidding me? I have a flawless body.
Well, yes, but I don't want to be in your body. I want to have my own. I can't run a park when you're flying around.
That actually is what I was about to talk to you. With me and Queen in here, we will grant you permission to use Queen's body, but Queen will have to give you her consent to take over temporary control of her body. And please be gentle with it.
I will try, but I think the only thing I'm going to be using this body for is making a more suitable body.
He says while like shaking his hand, like waving his arms about.
Yeah, and yes, your arms are going.
My ghost arms. Ah! I
Well,
don't want to be a figment of your imagination.
And the
I
entity
mean-
says, "Oh dear God, not that ride."
I thought just. Granted, I'm not nearly as intelligent, I guess, as him, she says, but I happen to be a fan of pop culture. So, anyway, we can just digitize him and throw him into one of his robots?
Well, there's probably a possibility, but first we must make a transfer chair. Something to transfer it to, and then a suitable body, or I could just connect to the whole park and just be a sentient park, but I don't want that.
Oh, why not detective?
Baxter,
I like detective too much. What?
the park. Well, it is yours, yes. And we completely respect your wishes. The transference of your consciousness to a, how do your people put it, a synthetic body. Our people have never done this before. They
Well,
will
yeah.
need your help.
Well, luckily for anyone involved, I'm a smart being, so, nothing's too challenging for good old Baxter.
You're humble too, Lewis, Jess says.
And I have great confidence, but I'm freaking out still. Either way, so does that mean that weird double gainer on the floor is controlling my body?
Yes, unfortunately. As that
Well,
body
he-
gets up and disappears.
Ah! Well, that's not good. Now me, but not actually me, is running around. Luckily, I don't think he knows how to do my voice, so, you know, at least that's good.
You just hear the entity say, "Oh, great, it's gone in body stage again." Typical
Hope he doesn't
Borealis.
break it. It's delicate. Ugh.
Typical Borealis. Always up to his ultra. Now,
He's a-
let's go deal with your agent being. She
Yes.
has
We
squished
must.
you into like a pocket dimension. Fine.
Let's go. Come, Queen. You need to go to my
I get
little
it.
building
She-
laboratory where I build all my shit.
Harper just sees Queen, who is to him talking to no one, just
I like
going,
how-
yeah, I'm going.
I
And
like that
she'll
idea that
walk towards the lab.
one eye's miscolored, like one eye's the color of Baxter's.
And you notice that a little bit of like fur has grown on like just your like your hands, but not like super furry, just like
Ooh, fair.
hair. And you just hear the
Okay.
entity pop in. Yes, I forgot to mention. The longer this friend of yours
You-
remains in this body, you'll be experiencing what's called cosmic
Yes, I think we get the point. The point that if we're both fused for too long, we start, well, at least she'll start getting my traits.
exactly. So we need to make
Yeah, I don't think my razor can handle too much of this, so yeah, let's do that pretty quick.
Okay, we're inside the Robo Lab, so now, of course, I could take control of your body, but are you ready for me to move very fast, very rapidly? You've never seen me build before. You're about to figure it out. Now, give me the
Yo.
damn controls.
She sighs, closes her eyes, and her other eye changes to Baxter's eye color.
and
And here we go. Rubs
right.
hands together. Oh god, I have boobs. Anyways. Okay.
And yes, do you want to say anything about that?
Oh, I
As
also
he's
have
lo-
wings.
As he's looking
Yes,
down
yes.
at your what?
He also looks back at the wings, goes, "Oh, this will be so easy to reach the top shelf." He says, while like quickly grabbing everything. He's even moving faster than he usually does by using your wings rapidly.
And the
Okay, I
entity
need
just
this,
says,
that.
"Keep in mind, it's not your body, so be respectful."
I'm gonna be respectful. I don't cut myself very often on my machines. Ow. Not often. Maybe a little of a shock, so if you get burnt to little shocky thingies, I'm used to having fur that protects. Because apparently my fur is very good at containing electricity.
Use
more
the
top.
other arm.
I get it. Okay, now I need a suitable body. I need a body that can handle everything about me, so I can't just throw a robot here. Okay, I need this, that, the processor, yes,
Roll a
tanks.
not dexterity saving throw, but a Constitution saving throw. I mean, as your body is basically being jarred left and right, and your consciousness is just feeling like it wants to puke.
Baxter's used to it, but you aren't.
Unfortunately.
10.
As you're
I wonder-
as the corporeal being is just standing there, and it's just kind of like it's like bends loose hand up to its mouth and just it's about to puke too.
I
And it just
wonder
says-
if
and it
taking
just says,
continuously.
"You please be careful.
I am. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I wonder if having full control of this body also causes the acceleration of furage. Anyways. Okay, then we do this, that, click, clack, and
He makes practically like a kind of like a proto hymn.
like, behold, my masterpiece! Anyways,
By the way, 6 hours have passed.
cool, a lot of hours. Okay, we're gonna sit down. Now, I'm not sure if it'll pull the right conscious. I imagine it'll be whoever's in control. Or maybe it'll be whoever's not in control. For all I know, it's the entity will get pulled in. Either way, experimentation, not an option. He says while hitting a button and pulling a lever and sitting in. Let's go!
And I need you to roll a Baxter, a dexterity saving throw, a wisdom saving throw, and Queen, you need to roll a Constitution saving throw at disadvantage.
What now?
Constitution saving throw at disadvantage. Because this is gonna basically you're ripping a mind out of your own mind, even though it's not your mind that's supposed to be there. It's a painful process.
4.
I didn't get anything good. I got a 13.
Well, the
Shouldn't be
entity
that
is gonna help, so you get a plus like 5 on that,
Thank you.
which just hits the threshold. So yeah, Queen, how do you react to the pain?
Well, I got a 21.
As you feel like this like consciousness being torn from your very
What?
soul. What do you do?
I mean, the physical body itself and the mind constructs collapses and starts screaming, grasping her head. Yeah, pretty much.
Anyways. Okay, the TV's broken again.
Yeah. And
It's like the TV broken
yeah,
noise.
Baxter, you now materialize in what looks like a metal, like, construct in your mental capacity. Basically, it's your little floaty drone thing, but it's an entire, like, super, like, large room. Think of, like, you know, the scene from Sonic the Hedgehog 2?
Oh.
Inside that giant robot?
Yeah.
It's that.
But basically, he's inside his robot form, and he just kind of like takes control and just like looks around and then trying to experiment with a new voice changer. You know how this well went before.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay, is this good? Yeah.
Yes.
Whoa, this feels great!
As you
Oh,
look
so
out your eyes, you look outside of your vision, and you just see poor Queen, like, on her hands and knees, just panting.
You good? I imagine that was very painful.
Little bit, yeah.
Well, I can technically feel things. I use. Not extremely. You need help.
Meanwhile, you hear a sound over the.
Mhm.
What is it?
Yuki?
Attention, all park guardians. Attention, all park guardians. We have a threat in the park. And that is wearing a fate black.
Fading to black.
I'll give you just a moment. All right. So how's everyone doing?
Great.
So far, okay.
Horrible
Ladies and
and
gentlemen,
great.
for joining me and my lovely friends on Heroes Core Worlds of Adventure Season 1, Episode 6, Fading Light, Part 1. What Part 2 will be, I'm not sure, but I'd like to thank our amazing lineup of cast, especially Lewis, Harley, Baxter, and Jess for joining me. And yes, a lot has been revealed today. Don't you think?
And if it was.
And if there was just a world I was making, I probably would have rewritten it 5 times.
Wow. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna let you go ahead. Yes.
Oh,
Wait, it's me! Yes, everyone's favorite little inventor. Apparently not as evil, or maybe evil. But I still get my evil because I can play as, this guy. So I get my dosage of evil. So either way, I'm, Baxter. And the brother.
Borealis.
And all controlled by me. My throat hurts now from all the very raspy voices. God have mercy, save my soul. And we'll pass it to the fairy now.
Yep. I am Katie Wynn, and I played Queen Bee. And I'm guessing from the naming scheme, she was named Aurora.
Yep.
And yeah, I assume Aurora is just going to be nestled in Jesse's head for a while.
Hmm.
So anyway, that's me.
Yep.
At least I don't have an insane furry in my head. That's good.
Yep. And
Yeah,
we'll
it's
see you
one
guys
of that.
next time in the parks. Is there anything else you guys like to say before we close out?
Not really.
Eat a,
Bad.
eat a burger. That's it. That's me demanding the audience to eat a burger. Do it now
Please have
for
a
my
burger
entertainment.
courtesy of whatever that robot is that wanders the
The
park.
cook.
Yep, that
I
guy.
get it from the cook. I don't remember his name. Give me a minute. I can figure it out. His
Overheat.
name was Inferno.
Oh yeah, that guy. Keep calling him
Get
Overheat,
it
but
from
yeah.
Inferno. He gives you burgers and pizza, courtesy of him.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
And
see
then
you
get a
next
drink
time
from Cobra.
in the parks. Until then, be empowered to play. And before I go,
Oh. Stuff.
What are you doing? Where's he going? Stop him. He's going crazy.
Yeah, pretty much.
just one
He's a
moment, guys.
madman. Someone stop this madman, please.
All right. Well, I got work to do in the parks, but until then, empowered to play, and we'll see you next time. Bye,
And
everyone.
a message from Chill Bro. Stay frosty.
Bye.
See you then.